In business, disasters rarely just happen. When a major project derails or a department splinters, describing a leak as a cause or a manager as starting the fight is like calling a hurricane a breezy afternoon. Flat, basic verbs fail to capture the volatility, speed, and hidden motives behind major workplace events. This anatomical diagram maps out a corporate event's entire life cycle across three distinct phases. First is the spark, the initial momentum. Second is the reaction, the human and emotional fallout. Finally, we reach the foundation, the hidden, deep-rooted causes that made the event possible. Focusing on that first phase requires understanding static energy. Before a crisis exists, there is equilibrium. To break that state, we use a specific grammatical mechanic to shift a situation from stillness to active chaos. This ignition switch model shows exactly how that shift happens. Adding the preposition off to a verb acts as a catalyst. It signals the leap from a flat, static baseline into a jagged wave of rapid activity. Initiators control the speed. Moderately, an event might set off manageable dominoes. Extreme suddenness requires an upgrade. A leak sparked off instantaneous resignations, shown by the lightning bolt. Extreme initiators describe violent reactions. Austerity measures triggered off protests, communicating dangerous, unpredictable momentum. Mastering these initiators allow you to telegraph the exact threat level and velocity of a crisis to leadership. You define the speed of the fire rather than simply noting that something is burning. Once the initial spark is lit, the mechanical event ends and the human element takes over. This fallout is split between immediate emotional responses and calculated social sabotage. A highly charged stimulus can bypass logic. Mentioning a past failure might set someone off, resulting in an immediate behavioral outburst. Other times, the reaction is internal. A specific building brings back the urgency of an early startup, linking the environment to historical feelings. Workplace conflict exists on a spectrum. On the left, a set-off event is a neutral catalyst. Moving right, stirring things up is deliberate provocation, intentionally creating arguments. The darkest end is payback, a retaliatory move executed purely as revenge for a slight. Accurately labeling a conflict's intent is vital for damage control. Misdiagnosing calculated revenge as a simple outburst leaves the organization vulnerable. When the immediate fallout settles, leadership begins the postmortem. This final phase focuses on diagnosing the absolute root cause that allowed the chain reaction to occur. This deduction target illustrates the first mandatory step, clearing the field. Investigators narrow the scope by identifying what is impossible. Declaring that the committee ruled out systemic bias officially severs a false cause from the narrative. Once false causes are cleared, the remaining truths exist in stratified layers. This iceberg diagram shows how investigators must dig beneath the official narrative to find out why the structure actually cracked. Surface-level causes are the tangible, intentional results that created a new reality. A policy change brought about an increase in revenue. These achievements are visible above the waterline and represent active, realized change. Descending just below the surface, situations often spring from inherent internal feelings. A sudden wave of department turnover may spring entirely from a collective sense of burnout, originating from an emotional state rather than a logical process. At the deepest tip lies the latent motive. This is the hidden truth that contradicts the official story. An executive might claim they are restructuring for efficiency, while the motive that lies behind the move is a desire to consolidate personal power. These specific tools interlock to form a complete narrative. A disgruntled consultant stirring things up to pay back the firm sparked off widespread anger. By ruling out corporate policy, leadership found the friction actually sprang from individual grievances. Upgrading to this precise vocabulary provides a strategic advantage. You command the true narrative of cause and effect, identifying the hidden origins of a crisis while others only see the surface chaos.